There's no doubt about it. Budget phones are becoming more and more well packaged. Just check out the budget to mid-range smartphones we've reviewed in the past month and even the past few months. Most, if not all of them, offer a lot for their price point. Now with manufacturers stepping up their game, OPPO is the next to introduce their challenger, the A6 Pro 5G. On paper, it has impressive specs, a 6.57-inch AMOLED display, a MediaTek Dimensity 6300 chipset, and a large 6500 mAh battery pack. But perhaps the most impressive is the fact that it features an IP69 rating for dust and water resistance and even military-grade shock resistance. But the question remains, does amazing spec on paper translate to a great experience in real life? Well, let's check out the new OPPO A6 Pro 5G in this review. The design of the OPPO A6 Pro 5G looks great, especially in the coral pink colorway we have here. It features a floral motif on the back panel that pops up depending on how light hits it. From the press photos we've seen, it seems only the coral pink variant features this cool flower or wave-like motif as compared to the others which don't have it. Aside from the floral motif though, the back panel features a minimalist design with just the camera island on the upper left corner and the OPPO logo at the bottom center. Now I like how the back panel feels even though it's just made out of plastic. It's smooth and more importantly, it's very smudge resistant. And just like the back panel, the frame is also made out of plastic. Despite its plastic construction, it feels quite premium. At first I thought it was made out of metal, but I was surprised to find out that it was actually made out of plastic, which is quite surprising considering this has an IP69 rating and even military shock resistance. Now in terms of the ergonomics, everything is easily reachable with my finger. The volume rocker and power button are found on the right side, while the dual SIM card slot, the USB-C port, and one of the loudspeakers are at the bottom. On the left side, it's pretty much clean, and at the top, you'll find the secondary microphone along with the other loudspeaker. In terms of size, the A6 Pro 5G isn't exactly that big, which I personally like. It's only 6.23 inches long, but it's not exactly the thinnest, measuring 8mm thick. If you add the rubber case, it becomes even bulkier and not really easy to fit in your pants, and it'll show. But now, let's talk about the biggest feature of the OPPO A6 Pro 5G, the IP69 rating and its military-grade shock resistance. With the IP69 rating, you don't have to worry about submerging this phone underwater. From water jets to fine dust, the A6 Pro 5G can pretty much handle it all. There's no need to worry about bringing it wherever you go. But of course, as we always say, saltwater is a different issue. As for the military-grade shock resistance, you can keep dropping it and you'll be pretty much fine. Honestly, I don't see the point in having the rubber case anymore considering how sturdy this phone actually is. Sure, it protects the phone from scratches here and there, but hey, having battle scars usually tend to tell nice stories. I mean, would it be nice if you got that scratch from somewhere? With that, there's no doubt about it, the OPPO A6 Pro 5G is one sturdy phone. I mean, of course, you still need to remember that this isn't exactly indestructible. It's military rated but not military equipment. So if you abuse it, it'll still probably get destroyed. Moving on to the display, the OPPO A6 Pro 5G features a 6.57-inch screen. It uses an AMOLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate and up to 1400 nits of peak brightness. The borders aren't the thinnest, but they are even all around, which makes it nice to look at. This being an AMOLED display, you do get nice, vibrant colors as you would expect. It's more than adequate for binge-watching videos. However, I'm sure some of you might find the 6.57-inch screen a bit small for watching series, especially with a group of friends. With the 120Hz refresh rate, you'll be able to enjoy smooth animations too, whether you're going through the menu, but it's more prominent when you're playing games, which we'll talk more about later on. What I do find a bit lacking though is the peak brightness. When you're indoors, the screen brightness is more than enough, but when you're outside, you might find it a bit hard to see what's on screen, and you will need to max it out just so you will be able to see everything. Not to mention there's no coating that helps with the glare too. Interestingly though, in terms of protection, it uses a different protective coating. It's not Gorilla Glass. Instead, it uses AGC DT Star D+, which is a mouthful. But nonetheless, it's quite sturdy and scratch resistant considering all the tests we did with this phone. As for the speakers, the A6 Pro 5G features dual stereo speakers as mentioned earlier. Despite being stereo speakers, the quality is very much average. There are barely bass and the mids aren't really that clear and they mix up with the treble as well. However, they are loud and there is a catch with the loudness. You make it too loud, you lose even more quality. But hey, at least they're loud, right? But perhaps the weakest link of the OPPO A6 Pro 5G are the cameras. The rear cameras only feature a 50 megapixel main shooter paired with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Yes, I know there are 3 holes here, but yeah, just 2 cameras. As for the front, you get a 16 megapixel selfie shooter. If you plan on taking photos, I highly recommend using 1x or 2x zoom at most to be able to retain the best quality. A 3x zoom is still a bit usable, but anything more than that and the drop in quality is very obvious. Nothing is sharp anymore and everything very much looks pixelated even when it's bright outside. Not to mention there's no ultra wide too, so you will have to stand back if you want to capture everyone in your image. When you do keep 1x or 2x zoom, you can capture great images though. The colors are vibrant but still retains a natural look, especially in well-lit environments. There's a good balance between the highlight and the shadows and the subject overall looks sharp. There's no need to edit the images in post anymore, even though you have an AI editor, which we'll talk more about in a bit. Honestly, I was surprised by how the photos turned out as you've seen with the sample images on screen. At night though, the drop in quality is quite obvious. Even without zooming in and staying in 1x zoom, it becomes just decent at best. Even when you do long exposure, it's not exactly great. With that, you have to set your expectations when it comes to the photos taken by the A6 Pro 5G. It's a similar story too when it comes to video. The camera can only record up to 1080p at 60 fps max. The output is similar to what you see in the images at 1x and 2x zoom. It's very much usable and it's very great in the day. But it's just average in low light or decent at best. There's no stabilization either, and with that you'll need steady hands to take a decent video. In terms of software, the OPPO A6 Pro 5G runs on ColorOS 15, which is based on Android 15. It's smooth and there are a bunch of customization options to help users personalize the phone to their liking. Despite being a relatively budget phone, you do get some of the AI features found on higher-end models. But perhaps the feature we use the most is AI Editor, wherein you can use AI Eraser, AI Enhance, and more to be able to, enhance the photos you take with its very lackluster camera. Aside from the AI editor in photos, this being Android 15, you also get access to Gemini features, including circle to search and even the AI functions in the notepad to help you write all of your stuff. Now, unfortunately, you still get a lot of bloatware the moment you boot up your phone. There's a lot, and I'm not really exaggerating. Worse yet, they're not really all located in just one folder. This means you will have to delete them one by one, which I've already done on this phone. You also get unwanted notifications for apps you don't use, which is very irritating. You can turn them off, but it's still an extra step for something we never want. But aside from the bloatware and irritating app notifications, ColorOS 15 is great to use. Still, I can't wait to see what ColorOS 16 has to offer, which was announced by the time this video was launched. And hopefully this phone gets that update immediately. Now under the hood, the OPPO A6 Pro 5G is powered by MediaTek Dimensity 6300 chipset. Our VU unit comes with 8GB RAM and 256GB of storage. For reference, this is the top spec variant available for the Philippine market. It's not exactly the most powerful chipset for its price point, but it's more than adequate for getting your day-to-day work done. You can leave multiple apps running in the background and have a lot of tabs open in Chrome along with all of the other apps, and they'll still run fine. There's no long wait time before these apps start to run too when you boot them up in the menu. But for gaming, it's not exactly the best. When playing Genshin Impact, it runs the game smoothly at 60 FPS with most of the graphics set to low. When you try to bump up the settings to medium, you'll immediately notice frame rate drops even when you're just looking around in one area. Even with game boosts turned on and set to performance mode, it doesn't really do that much to improve the gameplay. However, if you play lighter titles like Mobile Legends, you can max out the graphics and still have decent frame rates altogether. With that, just pick the games you'll be playing, and as always, set your expectations with regards to the performance. Now, for those of you who like the benchmarks, you can check them out on screen right now. Now, the battery of the OPPO A6 Pro 5G is one of the bigger ones in the market. Our unit packs a 6,500 mAh unit, but there is also a variant which features a larger 7,000 mAh unit. The battery lasts a very long time. I used this phone for an entire day while I was in Clark, starting at 81%, and I still had roughly 50% battery life by the time I went to bed. When I left it a day on my desk without using it, the battery only dropped by 2%. And the benchmark results, well, they showed similar results too. So when you go out, there's really no need to worry about the battery draining really fast on the OPPO A6 Pro 5G. When you do need to charge the phone, it won't take a long time either. It features 80-watt Super VOOC fast charging, which according to OPPO juices up the phone from 1 to 50% in just 26 minutes. Overall, the OPPO A6 Pro 5G shows a lot of potential. It's perfect for those who have butterfingers and drop their phones often. Alternatively, it's a great choice if you need a phone to use for your business, such as a kiosk or even a stand, and has the potential of being dropped quite often. The long battery life and the sturdy constructions ensure you'll be able to use it continuously no matter what condition you're in. Still, I do wish OPPO fitted a more powerful chipset and more capable cameras to make it a better all-around phone, especially for its price, which isn't exactly the cheapest. The OPPO A6 Pro 5G in the same 8 plus 256GB configuration as ours retails for 18,999 pesos, which is a bit of money considering the chipset and the lackluster cameras. But hey, of course, you do get the IP69 rating and the military-grade shock resistance. There is a more affordable variant in the 6 plus 128GB configuration for just 13,999 pesos. If you don't mind having 5G, the OPPO A6 Pro 4G in 8 plus 256GB variant retails for 15,999. For its price, it's possibly one of the toughest phones in the segment right now. But you do sacrifice the performance and as well as the cameras. But still, what do you guys think of the OPPO A6 Pro 5G? Is it a phone you'd pick for yourself or your business, or you choose something entirely else completely? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, and visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Should I drop this somewhere?